Hello there, and welcome to What's the Point? A question we should all be asking ourselves, and the podcast by brand architect Bill Ellis that will help you discover, clarify, and live your purpose.
Well, hi, everyone. Today, I've got just an incredibly interesting guest. I'm so excited to be able to speak with Rob Poleki, who very simply is an entrepreneur, an inventor, the CEO of Washie Toilet Seat, and just a fabulous story. So, Rob, good morning and welcome.
Bill, good morning. Glad to be on the show. Thank you for having me.
So I love to get a little background on my guest, and you have had a very interesting journey. So I'll just summarize it, and we can probably end the show right now. Samoan parents who immigrated to New Zealand. You were born South Auckland.
South Auckland, yep.
Eventually moved to the States, I think Hawaii. Then you ended up in the mainland playing football for Idaho State University, and then you fulfilled your dream of getting into the toilet seat business.
I sure did, my friend.
Okay, well, that's it. No, in all seriousness, what I have to say for you to know, and also for my listeners, what attracted me, the way I first discovered you was not by looking under entrepreneur, was not looking for a new toilet seat. It was one of my connections on LinkedIn either commented or liked one of your posts. And the post was you acknowledging what a tremendous impact your father has had on your life, showing you how to be determined and persistent and to just take life and make it happen. Tell me a little bit more about your dad and your mom, your parents for that matter.
Yeah, so my parents are the true entrepreneurs. They have taken so many risks, taken so many leaps and bounds to provide a better life for my siblings and I. They first started speaking no English, moving to New Zealand from the small, tiny island of Samoa. Trying to raise a family there, trying to pick up a second language, working multiple jobs to meet ends meet. And then making another leap to the States to try to provide something even better for us, the American dream, which, looking back now and seeing the friends that I used to hang out with in New Zealand, I'm pretty lucky. I'm pretty lucky that that my parents were able to move us here to the States just to give us something better, a life that we've never dreamed of. And my dad, especially that post that you saw on LinkedIn, he's always been, a worker. I hardly saw him when I was a kid because he was working, 12, 16-hour shifts a day. I would see him at night and say good night, and he would be gone in the morning. So he taught me the grind of how to hustle, of how to, work hard and get what you want in life. So that was just a little bit about that post that you saw on LinkedIn is, my parents are the true winners here because I come from humble beginnings. Mm-hmm. We were not wealthy at all. And they've provided me with everything that I've needed to succeed in this life.
Well, I just love that story. And I love the tribute you gave to your dad, who one of his jobs at least was security guard, right?
Yeah, he started as a security guard and he started taking on working 6 days a week, multiple hours. And then eventually, 20 years later, he's now running the security company.
There you go.
Yeah. So it just goes to show what hard work can get you.
Yeah. And thanks for sharing that, because again, this whole show is started because I want people to be able to discover, clarify, and live their purpose. And that doesn't, some people say our purpose is a choice, and arguably it is, but it really starts early in our life. And the impact that your parents had on you and the values that they gave you by showing you, it is probably as big a thing in the foundation of where you are today as anything. So hard work doesn't frighten you. Hitting the grind doesn't frighten you. But getting from Hawaii to Idaho. Now, tell me a little bit about that. Share with us about that move, because that's not too many people would say that's something we would choose to do. Going from beautiful Hawaii to now, Idaho is a great state, but it's cold there pretty often.
It is cold, and it does get very hot as well. Just to go backtrack a little, that story that I told about my parents about moving, it is it sounds great, Bill, it sounds great when I tell it, but it's not like I was the perfect kid. So, I was a little rascal growing up too. So, these stories come with a lot of lessons in life too. A lot of the experiences that I've dealt with, especially growing up, has molded me. And my parents, I said in the beginning, my parents have given me these tools to succeed. So from Hawaii to Idaho, I played rugby growing up.
Of course.
And ninth grade, a football coach comes and finds me and says, "Hey, you want to play football?" And I was like, "Okay, sure, I'll run the ball." I'm 6'3", 300 pounds. In high school, I was about 6'3", 280. Okay. And said, "Yeah, just give me the ball. I'll run the ball." And they're like, "No, you're gonna go block." I finally figured out, how to play football in the ninth grade. So I got a scholarship to Idaho State University. I wasn't the how do I put this correctly? The best kid. I got in trouble a lot in high school.
Yeah. And
because I got in trouble a lot, the Pac-12 decided not to recruit me. So I had to go to Idaho State University. Coaches from the Pac-12 got fired and went to Idaho State University, and they picked me up. So I went to Idaho on a football scholarship. Never been to Idaho before. I just said, you know what, this is the only thing that I have. I'm going. So when I was 18 years old, I made the trip on myself to Idaho and been here ever since. I married a girl here that's from Idaho, and we have 4 kids now, and we've made this our home.
Well, that's terrific. And as far as having some crazy times as a kid, I think we all have, and in particular with parents working as much as your parents worked, kids have time to do whatever we're going to do. So part of that too, and I want to make this point for everyone listening, is part of that is also part of your learning exercise. So going through all of that helped you step out of your comfort zone and step out of your parents' comfort zone and do some things that I bet you learned some lessons from. So you did a lot of goofing off, but weren't you also kind of industrious a little bit as a child? Didn't I see somewhere that you were big on selling banana bread door to door?
Oh yeah. So my dad was always working, and my mama, stay-at-home mom, but I get my creativity from my mom. Because, we didn't have money. So, everything that we did, we had to be really creative on how we got it, especially with food. My wife says, "Man, you can like cook anything with leftovers." I'm like, because that's what I had to do when I was a kid. We didn't have money to go to McDonald's or anything. So, we just had to be really creative. And that's where I get my creativity is from my mom. But she would make food, banana bread especially, and my cousin and I would go around with boxes of banana bread and go door to door and sell them. And then I would give her about $120 at the end of the day because I went and sold all this banana bread, and she would give me $5, and I'm like, "Mom, what the heck, $5?" But at that time, I was 12, 13 years old, and I didn't know that money was going towards paying for the bills. I was too young to know that. Yeah. And, but because she only gave me $5, then I became more creative, and I was thinking of ways to make more money for myself. I got $5 to go and spend at the corner store, like at the gas station. What else can I do? So that's where I get my entrepreneur side is I had to be really creative when I was a kid.
And so those are the kind of stories I love to hear, Rob, because it really sets the stage. Now let's fast forward a little bit. So you've moved quite a bit. You've had, on one hand, kind of a typical childhood with hardworking parents and some goofing off. You certainly had, and your family certainly, no doubt, faced a lot of challenges being immigrants into a country. Immigrants going to any country face a tremendous challenge. And I would say, and I don't want to go down this path too far, but I just want to acknowledge my experience that immigrant families work as hard or harder and are more dedicated than, or at least as dedicated as anyone else in any country, because you have to be. You have no choice. And I think that has really taken root in you. So Idaho State University football, you graduate, you now have a wife from, is it Pocatello?
Pocatello, Idaho, yep.
Okay. Starting a family, and you are, were you at the time then the county clerk?
I was. I graduated from Idaho State University with a social work degree. I come from humble beginnings. Part of my culture as being a Polynesian is to help people and to serve. So I thought social work would be my calling. So the first about 10 years of my career, I assisted homeless with substance abuse and mental health issues. I also worked for the VA, helping veterans coming back from OEF, OIF, from the war, and dealing with substance abuse issues. So the first 10 years of my career, I was a social worker. I've always been in some kind of government setting. Then coming to Idaho, part of that life, we moved back to Hawaii. So my wife and I were social workers in Hawaii. Then we came back to Idaho and we started the family in Idaho. And I've always been in government. And one day I thought to myself, my boss is retiring, and I was director of the social services agency in my county, and my boss was retiring, and I was like, man, I can do that job. So I went and ran for office. He was the county clerk, ran for office, and then I won. My first term, I won my first election.
Well, there again, it's that big heart, that giving, that caring about other people, that is really impressive. So part of your travels, now this is where it gets good. This is bringing us to today, to your life and your invention, and the fact that you're CEO and that you've achieved your lifelong goal of being in the toilet seat business. And I say that completely tongue-in-cheek, because I'm sure that never crossed your mind. But tell us about the time in the airport when your son was doing what you call the potty dance.
Yeah. So I always say this, that, from politics to the restroom industry, same crappy business. In 2015, and this is 6 years ago, in 2015, my son and I were at the Salt Lake City airport. He starts doing the potty dance. We wait in line. He's 4 years old at the time. A stall finally opens up, and we go into the stall, and the last person had kind of sprayed all over the seat, right? And so I get some toilet paper. There's a long line. This is the only stall that we have to use. I get some toilet paper, wipe down the seat for him, and I get a toilet seat cover, put it on there, and I try to lift him on there, and he's like kicking his feet, and he's like, I'm not sitting on that. What is that? So I set him down, and I go and I run to the soap dispenser, get some soap, put on some paper towels, and I clean the seat down for him so he can sit down and take care of business. And I thought to myself, everything in the public restroom is, hands free, sanitize, except the most important thing. Mm-hmm. There's been no innovation to the toilet seat. So that's where I came up with the idea. The light bulb came to my mind is, I need to figure out how to solve this problem. So Yeah, I never thought I would be in the toilet seat industry. I never did want to be in this industry. I was at my desk, you know, as an elected official, and, you know, I thought to myself, this isn't it for me. I could stay at this position for the rest of my life, you know. I was I'm still well known in the community. No one was, you know, running against me. I won my first election. I could have stayed in that position until I retired, good benefits. But I thought, you know, this isn't it. I can't just, you know, I can't be here for the rest of my life. I need to do something else with my life. I need to do something bigger and greater. And so I went down the list of ideas, because I'm a guy that has tons and tons of ideas. I just write them down in my phone. And I went down the list of ideas and I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this idea. I'm going to see what happens. I filed for a patent, and that's where it started.
Well, and so first of all, I think it's fabulous that you write down your ideas and have them for reference. And everyone listening, and myself included, needs to make that a habit, because having a great idea, be it driving or walking through an airport or in the shower, is no good if you don't remember what the idea is. And it may take a while to germinate, as yours did. But the important takeaway here is to be open to opportunity. And I think that's one of the great lessons that you learned from your parents, where they did what they could when they could. So you had great aspirations, but you didn't have specific expectations. And I think having that aspiration to be more helps. So you didn't just say, okay, I'm going to become an inventor and leave your public life right away. I mean, you spent some time in development, right? And working it out. Now help me, because I think I saw a photograph of your first prototype. And what it made me think of was the type of toilet seat that some friends of mine have to install when they have double knee surgery. It looked like even someone 6'3" would have their feet dangling over the floor. It was a big thing.
You know, I was so proud of that prototype too. And looking back at it, it was my very first one. Looking back at it, I'm like, this is ugly. This is the ugliest thing that I've ever seen. And I thought that, you know, I thought that I had something then. And so tons of R&D has gone into it. Tons of there was hours and hours and hours of me trying to figure this thing out, you know, at 2:00 in the morning, 3:00 in the morning, trying to develop, you know, Washie Toilet seat into something better. So yeah, that first toilet seat looks like the handicapped toilet seat that you use. Yeah, that you use. But it has come a long way. It's definitely come a long way.
Yeah. And again, I love I'm getting so much from you. This is fabulous, but all of your comments are just making great points that, you know, there's no such thing as overnight success. There's no such thing as, oh, I had an idea, so I quit my job and now I'm in business. It doesn't work that way. So in between, you were working on your idea and developing it in between being a father, being a husband, raising a family, working your county job, and going about normal life. And you squeezed in everything that it takes to become everything, not to become, but to be an entrepreneur. And that's a commitment.
Well, yeah, it definitely has been a commitment. I have lost some memories of, you know, my children playing sports, dance recitals, because I've been working on this toilet seat, right? I tell this to, you know, people that you know, when I was a county clerk, I would go to conferences all over the place, and I would drive to them. And Bill, sorry, let me close the store because kids are here.
Oh, that's good. That's fine.
But I would go to conferences, and while everyone is out at the social and, you know, having drinks and, you know, after the conference, I'm in my hotel room measuring toilet bowls. And and I got caught one day. I got caught taking a toilet bowl, an actual, you know, commercial toilet bowl from my car into the hotel room. And everyone, you know, at the conference was like, what is he doing with the toilet bowl going into, his room with a toilet bowl, and I was measuring so that my engineer could design, the catwalk. So, tons of things that I've had to do to try to figure this out. Tons of late nights, tons of missing out on things, but it's all for the bigger purpose, the bigger dream that I've had, and I know it'll pay off one day. Is that I've had to sacrifice so that one day I can provide something better for my kids, like my parents did for me. Yeah. So it's really sacrificing. I had to. There's a picture of me on LinkedIn, measuring and installing toilet seats. That's what I do on my weekends now. I don't do things with friends a lot. I don't do things with or go out and enjoy much because I'm so dedicated to this. So yeah, it's taken a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah, and that's again, the dedication and the commitment that you have and that any successful entrepreneur has is an essential part of it. Explain to us real quickly, please, Rob, how the toilet seat works, just the mechanics or the engineering, if you will, of it.
Sure. So Washie Toilet seat allows the user to clean the seat before use. We've found that when we've installed, we've gotten data back that people are cleaning the seat before and after use. So if you make a mess, you can clean your own crap, right? So great data, but you grab some toilet paper, wave your hand over a sensor, cleaning solution rises to the surface of the seat, and you use the toilet paper to wipe the seat down before you sit. So we are replacing paper toilet seat covers, forever. Don't stop using paper toilet seat covers. They're absorbent like toilet paper. So once your body heat hits, the paper toilet seat cover, it becomes absorbent. So anything that's on the seat seeps through anyway. So yeah, that's the problem we're solving. We're getting rid of paper toilet seat covers.
Well, just one real quick point of clarification from a picture point of view. The cleanser dispenses from the very back of the toilet seat, and then you towards both sides and the front. And just from someone that is always very apprehensive about using public restrooms, I applaud you, and I thank your son for doing the potty dance and everything to sit on that piece of paper, because I look forward to this being in every public restroom that I use, because again, there's incentive. If it's there and it's that easy, most people will indeed use it, if not beforehand and after, at least beforehand. And that's a start. Because it is tough to have to go to the sink, get some soap, wet some whatever you wet, and then go clean it. And especially when people are waiting. So I love the concept, and it's got to be really well thought of. And speaking of well thought of, you had some interest to be included, or at least a candidate for most entrepreneurs' dreams these days, and that's to make an appearance on Shark Tank.
I did.
I know there's a lot of non-disclosure involved in those things, but share with us what you can about that story.
Yeah, it's been so long. I tell this story all the time. It's been so long. I don't care about the non-disclosures anymore. So, and this is how I quit my job, Bill. In 2018, when I finally received the first patent. I have 2 patents now, 2 utility patents on the seat. I received my first patent in 2018, 3 years after the day I filed. It took tons of reading. I tell people I have a social work degree from Idaho State University, and I have a master's degree from Google. I found everything on Google, everything that you need to know if you want to invent something, even if you want to fix something. It is on Google and YouTube. You don't need anything anymore, books you can find everything you need on Google. So that's what I did. I got an attorney. He gave me tons of paperwork to read, tons of paperwork to fill out. I did most of the work. We got our patent in 2018. And once I received the patent, I was still in office. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try out for Shark Tank. And that's where I have my first prototype. This thick, looking, handicapped looking seat, right? So I drive from Boise, Idaho, where, picked up my prototype. I drove 12 hours to Las Vegas, Nevada to go and try out for Shark Tank in the middle of CES. Do you know what CES is? It's Consumer Electronics Show.
Yeah.
Biggest show ever, right? And it's in the Venetian Hotel. So here I am. I'm in the parking lot. I'm taking out the toilet bowl and the toilet seat, and there's tons of tech companies, and I have to walk from the parking lot to the middle of the Venetian Hotel with a toilet bowl and a toilet seat. And before I even made the trip, oh my gosh, I almost psyched myself out and got back in the car. I almost didn't do it because I was so embarrassed. Like, what are people gonna think? But I got the opposite reaction. So when I was like, screw it, I'm gonna do this. So I'm pushing a toilet bowl and my toilet seat on the push cart, and I get to the elevator. I'm walking through the casino, and I just see the eyes. Everybody is staring at me, and then I see the people are coming up to me now. And by the time I'm like halfway through the casino, I have a huge crowd around me asking me what do I have? What is this? And so that's where I got all the attention and the excitement. You
didn't tell them that it was a new form of craps, did you?
It was a crap show. So I got a lot of attention, and I pitched. And I waited about 9 hours, and I pitched in front of the producers, and they loved it. Got tons of attention. And so out of 42,000 applicants, I made it down to 90. And so I had lied on my application. And I had said that I was not elected official and I was not running for office. There's a rule that they have that if you make it onto the show, you're not allowed to run for elected office. Some federal guideline being on a network. And I had said, no, I'm not, because I didn't know I was going to make it this far, right? And so when I got down to the end, they said, Rob, it says here that you're not an elected official, but we found out that you are. And I was like, okay, I'll quit my job. And she said, yeah, you're going to quit your job or you can't come on Shark Tank. So I quit. I gave up. I thought to myself, I was going to be this instant millionaire because I was going on Shark Tank. I thought, oh my gosh, if I quit now, I'm just going to be rich. So I quit my job, gave up the 401k, gave up the good salary. I had 3 kids at the time, a huge risk. I quit my job. My wife was okay with it. She was like, you know what? This is what you want to do. I got permission from my wife first. So I quit my job. And about 2 weeks later, after quitting my job, they cut me. They said, Rob, sorry. And we were planning my pitch. We were buying, the set, everything that for my set to go onto the show. Everything was being, worked out. And they called me and they say, Rob, you're so early in the game. You don't even have revenue. You just have a product. You just have an idea. You have a prototype. We found a company with revenue, and it's in the same industry, restroom industry. Sorry, we'll keep in touch, and probably next year, we'll see if you can come on next year. Oh man, Bill, that's the biggest punch in the gut. The first one that I ever got. I didn't know what to do. I quit my job. I was banking on Shark Tank, and they had just cut me, and I had nothing. I was depressed for about, a month. I had no clue what I was going to do. And I talked it over with my wife, and she was like, you know what? This is a great time for you to go all in. My wife is a real estate agent. She runs a cleaning company. And, for the last 3 years, she's paid the bills while I've gone on this journey. And she's allowed me to go 100% with Washie. And if I didn't quit my job, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have come as far as I've come today, because I would have still been working the full-time job, trying to do this part-time. So it was a blessing in disguise. And if I would have went on the show, I probably would have given up half of the company because I was so gun-ho and excited to be on Shark Tank, but I didn't really know what I was doing in the beginning. But if I would, they keep in touch with me every year. But if I were to go on the show now, I probably wouldn't even give them anything because I know how much I have now. So such a blessing in disguise. Things come up for a reason. I was so hurt at the time, but it was a good lesson for me. A really good lesson.
That is such an amazing story on so many levels. Before I start to dig into that and make some points on that, let me ask you this. Had you gotten on Shark Tank, did you have in your mind which shark you would really have wanted most to align with, or were you just like, give me a shark?
Oh, yeah. Either Kevin or Leary. I love Kevin because he's straight up. He tells the truth.
Wonderful.
Mr. Wonderful tells the truth. He gives it to you straight, or Mark Cuban because of stadiums, because Washie belongs in NFL stadiums, basketball stadiums, where tons of public restrooms are, tons of high traffic restrooms. That's where Washie belongs. So I would have went with those two.
There's so much to take from just that short chapter in your journey. What an amazing partner you have in your wife. To be that supportive, to say, follow your dream and we'll get through this, has got to be one of the greatest gifts you've had. And I don't know if you expected that from the second you met her or if that developed over time, but how amazing is it to have a partner that's just going to say, we got this, follow your dream.
Yeah. She's always been that type of person, she's not a person to say no. She's a person to say, let's do this, right? Let's figure it out. Let's go. Let's move here. Let's, try for, especially when I was the social services director, I had a permanent full-time job. And I said one day, I want my boss's job. Let's run for office. This is not a stable job. I have to run for my job every 4 years. She's like, okay, let's do it. We can do this. She's always the person to say, let's go. So the biggest cheerleader, in fact, she was a Bengal dancer. Like she danced for the university, and I was a football player. So so she's always played that role, I guess, cheering people on.
That's great. And the other part of that is, we get punched in the gut, and it's 100% natural to just let that affect us, in particular when we get our dreams so big. But to be able to pass through that, to shake it off and to say, you know what, I've got more here than most people, and I've got a future here. It is a great lesson, not just for you, but thank you for sharing that with us, for myself and our listeners, because stuff never happens exactly the way we want it to, and we're all going to face disappointment. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, that door just slammed shut. Where's the next door opening, or is there a crack in a window someplace? Where's the next place we need to go? That's always good to keep in mind. So I know that you are committed and that you have said publicly, and I'll reiterate it here, that Washie Toilet Seat is going to become a unicorn. Watch it happen. And I also believe that is not your end game. That Washie Toilet Seat, making it a unicorn, being wildly successful with that, giving your family everything you've ever wanted to give them financially, is literally just another step on the ladder that you're climbing. Right? Share with us where you're going to go after, or even along with, as Washie Toilet Seat hits the big time. Yeah.
So talking about opportunities and doors closing, doors opening, I had a conversation with a young entrepreneur about opportunity and about taking the opportunity while the door is open, because doors sometimes shut. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's all about timing. With Washie, I told myself there is no plan B for me. I can't make a plan B because then I have something to fall back on. Mm-hmm. Right. Washie is plan A, and I'm going to make plan A work,
Mm-hmm.
right? That has been my mindset the whole time. Washie Toilet Seat is not my dream. Washie is a product that I thought of.
Mm-hmm.
Being creative, being an entrepreneur is my dream, right? Washie is just another opportunity for me to open this door and live this dream. So, I always tell my kids this, is that, one day when Washie takes off, I will have my daughter help out one day, because my kids have been a part of this company as well. I have them in commercials. I get feedback from them. But one day, when I'm able to sell Washie and give money back to my investors, and everyone is happy that Washie was a success, I will open a incubator because I have pages and pages of ideas, and hire 5 CEOs to run the best 5 ideas to continue creating, continue to become an entrepreneur, but overseeing this process. So this door opens the next door for me. And being successful with Washie, whatever comes next is going to be because of the success of the company. It's not like, like I said, it's not like I wanted to be in the toilet seat business,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
This product will take me there, and I will succeed. Especially a unicorn, right? You can't. Entrepreneurs always say, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be a unicorn. I'm going to be a unicorn," and that's the dream. But if I could take a toilet seat product to unicorn, right? People being in the restroom industry and taking a toilet seat to a unicorn, it would open so many doors, would open so many opportunities for myself and my family and for the people around me. So it's never just been, I'm going to be a toilet seat salesman for the rest of my life. It's this door opens the next. Yeah. So you're right.
So it's the entrepreneurial answer to street cred.
Yep.
Take a second, please, and define for. I'm not sure every one of our listeners here today understands unicorn. Explain that for us, please, quickly.
Yeah, so unicorn making 100 million in revenue, a $1 billion, a 10x $1 billion company. You could sell your company for $1 billion. Like a unicorn would be purple mattress, or like guys with Instagram, or they would sell their company for over $1 billion.
Yeah. Great, thanks for that. So I mean, basically, it's unicorn is a dream animal, and hitting that level from a startup position is certainly a dream of every entrepreneur. And I just know you're going to do it. I mean, I just the vibe I get from you, the energy you have, and importantly, the need that you're filling is really important. I mean, public health, in particular, after we've gone through this pandemic with a greater awareness of hygiene and the need for good hygiene, I just think you're well on your way. That's just my opinion, for what it's worth.
Well, yeah, no, you're right. So everyone in this world has to use the restroom. There is a public restroom in every facility that you go into: airports, stadiums, office buildings, restaurants. There's a public restroom there. So there's so much opportunity for our company. But the biggest thing is that we're like the razor blade. Our revenue model is like the razor blade. There's a cartridge of chemical that goes into the seat that provides the cleaning solution. So once we sell the seat to a stadium, every month they will be purchasing the chemical from us. So right. There's that monthly revenue coming in, that reoccurring revenue that comes in, and that's how we've become a unicorn. The Dollar Shave Club is the best example of that revenue model. Is you buy the razors from them, and then every month the subscription comes in, and you're continuing to spend your dollars, and it's not a one-time sale; it's a lifetime sale. So that's how we think we're going to get our company to a unicorn.
So you mentioned, Rob, that you have 2 patents. One is for the seat. Is one of them for the actual dispenser refill?
So I have 2 utility patents for the seat. We have a design patent for the refill that's pending. We also have our the Washie logo, the trademark pending. So we have multiple pendings, but we have 2 issued. And so, and those are just on the seat.
Okay. I think that's terrific. You mentioned the conversation you had with that young entrepreneur. I happened to see that conversation. Okay. And there again, the impact that you've had on that young man, if he took nothing else from it, he took from you very simply, be ready when the opportunity comes, because the opportunity is not always there. Doors close. And that is just a powerful thing, both from the lesson itself, but also how you're passing it on to young entrepreneurs. And that young man has a much better chance now of success than he did prior to speaking with you. And so I think
so. Well, I hope. I hate to be the big-headed person, so I hope some of my words would encourage him.
Well, I don't think it's being big-headed, but to me, it ties back. It kind of brings together the entire Rob Poleki package of hard work, dedication, big vision, willing to take the grind, but then your whole social degree and your social work, and you're helping those people that are just in the midst of addiction. And trust me, I'm real familiar with that and the work you do. I applaud you. Helping veterans returning. So you have that instinct and that element within you to help others anyway. So yeah, if you're afraid of having a big head, don't worry, I'll tout it for you.
Thanks, Bill.
I think the combination of what you're doing to become a successful entrepreneur and your lifelong willingness to share with others to improve their lot is a beautiful combination.
I appreciate that.
So for anyone interested in Washie Toilet Seat, the website will certainly be in the show notes. Rob can be contacted through LinkedIn, which is where I found this gentleman, and I'm very glad that I took that shot, and thank you for being so open. But from the son of immigrants in New Zealand to the journey all the way to football in Idaho, public office, and now the king of toilet seats, if you put all that together, Rob, what's the point?
You know what? I was just thinking about that. What is the point of this? Going through this, long hours, staying up to 4:00 last night, 4:00 a.m. with my manufacturer overseas. What is the whole point? For the listeners out there, I think you can gather or get from my story is that I was a knucklehead kid. I got in trouble a lot. I got very lucky and got a scholarship to a university. I did not know anything. I was not good in school. I barely made it. I've always had the hustle. This year, I turned 40 and decided to become an entrepreneur. And at any point in time in your life, when you decide to go, you can make it happen. I did not grow up, with money. I did not grow up with a lot of knowledge about how this world works, but I figured it out. And you can figure it out too. I can call myself an official inventor because I have 2 patents under my name. I would never have thought in a million years, even 5 years ago, that I could call myself an inventor. And now at the age of 40, I'm taking on this new journey. And just a message is don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable in what you're doing. Don't get comfortable in where you're at in life. If you think that there's something bigger out there for you, you need to go take what's yours. Go get it, because it's not going to fall in your lap. It's going to take time to get there. It's going to take hard work, but eventually, if you want it, you can get it. And especially in America. In America, this land that provides all this opportunity, and I hate to say it, but a lot of people don't take advantage of this opportunity. You can get anything you want, anything. You just have to go get it. You have to find a way. You have to do something different. You don't don't be comfortable. Don't do what everyone else is doing, because what everybody else is doing is how you get comfortable, or how you get into the mode of doing, the whatever it is. Just if you want to go get something, go get it for yourself. And you don't have, you don't need any special degrees. You don't you don't need money. I still don't have money. I'm still doing things. So yeah, if you want something, go get it. So that's kind of the message from me.
Well, I think that's brilliant. And it so well summarizes what I call my purpose principle, which is we have to define, clarify, and embrace our purpose. That's where it starts. What are we doing? And then that ignites our passion. And then to keep that magic going, it's persistence. And everything you've talked about is, your purpose isn't to build a better toilet seat. Your purpose is to make the most out of what you can with your ideas and your ability to make a better life for yourself and your family. That's a big purpose, and that's going to change and evolve and be refined as it goes. But goodness knows, you certainly have ignited that passion. And, I appreciate the persistence of you staying up to 4 a.m. with your China suppliers, but also waking up early enough your time to do this interview. I thank you so much for your time, Rob. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you. And I can't wait to start going through a bunch of different public places and seeing that Washie toilet seat and say, I know that dude.
Yeah, people always say, Rob, I was thinking about you when I was in the restroom. but Bill, thanks for having me on the show. It's been a blessing to meet you, and a blessing to be, have this opportunity to talk to you. Thank you.
Thanks so much for tuning in. And if you like what you heard, please subscribe so you don't miss an episode. We can promise you'll gain value in every one. Rating and reviewing makes us more discoverable and helps others find out what's the point. And if you'd like to know more about Bill Ellis or contact him, please visit his website, www.brandingpillars.com. See you next time.